Yo, 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 Big Catch back up in here. We about to be going over how Kendrick Lamar got so many enemies by making the tracks on GNX. But the title reads, I mess some stuff up. I mess it all up. The title goes, Every Enemy Kendrick Made with GNX. But we gonna see how he made these enemies. So this gonna be a little, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, this gonna be interesting. Y'all sit back. Matter of fact, go take your shower first. Go take your bath first, because I know you've been marinating in your sweat in your bed and all that. And go take a bath, then come back, and then we could go kick back. You know what I mean? And then y'all know I don't like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
With the release of GNX, the rap world was shaken to its core. Instantly hailed as a fan favorite, the album garnered universal acclaim from critics, devoted fans, and even dusty YouTube reaction channels like myself. It was praised for its seamless digestibility, masterful use of samples, and Kendrick's triumphant celebration of his victory in the most electrifying rap battle of the decade. In return, he gifted us some of the hardest-hitting bangers of his career. The project wasn't just the crown jewel of Kendrick's most successful year yet. It was the exclamation point. It echoed the same unrelenting energy he gave us at the start of the year with his unforgettable feature verse on Futures Like That. That verse set him apart from the pack, cementing his place at the top, worthy of every accolade imaginable. But with greatness comes resilience. Just as Like That drew a fresh wave of enemies Kendrick's way, GNX has sparked its own war. Some of the usual suspects have resurfaced, but this time, new names have entered the fray. Some are targets Kendrick intentionally called out, but others, they've thrown themselves into the battlefield, reacting to shots that Kendrick may not have even aimed at them. And the root of most of these problems stems from the very first track on the album, Whacked Out Murals. We're gonna end up dissecting most of this track in this video just because of the sheer number of people that Kendrick mentions either directly or indirectly. And on a side note, this track to me feels like the real version of 616 in LA, or at least a continuation of it. This is the most timestamp-esque record that we've ever got from Kendrick, where he's directly speaking on issues that have happened over the last few months. It's believed that Kendrick actually recorded this record less than 2 months ago, given the relevancy of the subject matter and the odes to other recent records from him like Watch the Party Die. And the individual to take most offense from the subject matter within this record was ironically the most random individual on this list of enemies that Kendrick created with GNX, and that would be Andrew Schultz. On the third verse of this record, Kendrick rapped,
Here comes some of y'all favorite comedian. Adolf Schultz.
"Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman, that's law. I know propaganda work for them, and F whoever that's close to them, the people that coon, the people that been grooming, slide on both of them." Now, Andrew Schultz thought this bar was directed at him due to a joke he made back in July. He had said that dating a black woman would cause you to go bald due to the stress levels of your relationship, and that
These two had came out and apologized. We ain't go over that, y'all, but hopefully y'all seen it. These two came out and apologized. It seemed like I ain't gonna lie, it didn't seem like genuine laughs. It was like laughs like to satisfy the camera laugh. But it's like, damn, I know I shouldn't be laughing. That's what I seen in them. You know what I mean? I may be wrong. You know I'm wrong a lot. Yeah, I'm wrong a lot. Hey, it is what it is. I'm human, just like you. Shit.
you grow a beard to use as a cushion for when they hit you.
What is the black girlfriend effect? This is
you don't know
just
about
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro, white guys with black girlfriends, they
grow a beard.
See how he cut that laugh off real fast? They cut it off because it's like it's a certain laugh I see. It's like a forced laugh. It's a forced laugh and it's a real laugh. A forced laugh, you able to just on some Kanye shit. You know what I'm saying? But a real laugh is like you still be smiling with it, like yo, you know what I mean? These joints was forced to me. You know what I mean?
Because there's more cushion when they get slapped the
After this record came out, academics said that he spoke to Schultz about it, and Schultz thought that Kendrick was too woke to understand a joke.
By the way, I hit Andrew Schultz about that. And I think his reaction was, he's like, yo, is this guy too woke to understand a joke?
Then a few days later, Schultz went on his own podcast and took the jokes, if you want to call them that, up a notch. Now, it's one thing to feel like people are too sensitive over comedy, but the way Schultz was acting here, he was more sensitive over this bar that wasn't even actually directed at him, which we're going to touch on shortly, but he seemed to be more sensitive and butthurt over this bar than Kendrick even was to begin with about white comedians making jokes about black women. First, he grouped all rappers together and
I seen a little bit of his comedy. I ain't gonna keep pausing this, y'all. I know y'all want to get through this. I seen a little snippet of his comedy because they played it during the his and Charlamagne the God's podcast. So they played a little snippet of his comedy, and what he said was he was running and some Jamaican guy was chasing him trying to get his butt. That was it, and all the crowd was laughing. So he really be fantasizing about some stuff, y'all. He be fantasizing about this stuff. It ain't just Andrew Schultz, oh, he's funny. It's a joke. These are jokes with punchlines in the beginning and the middle and the back, and it's structured. Nah, this is just freestyle type shit. This freestyle, and I'm gonna give these people my mind. And that's what he be thinking about. That's the stuff he thinks about. Let's get it.
And said that they shouldn't speak on morality when it comes to women because of the vulgarity in hip-hop lyrics throughout history.
Rappers are telling comedians we need to be more respectful to women. So we gotta sit back and reflect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They're the most pious group.
Listen, nobody has respected women more than rappers. Okay?
Absolutely.
So I completely understand how a rapper could look at a comedian telling a joke and be like, yo, y'all need to switch that up.
Yeah.
How dare y'all keep saying your wives are annoying? Be more like us, and this ain't nothing but hoes and tricks. I beat my with a stick. What?
Did you just think of that?
That's a real lyric from music that protects women.
Now, it's important to note that he wasn't even quoting Kendrick lyrics here, but he then goes on to directly quote the Kendrick lyrics from Whacked Out Murals, where he's talking about white comedians making fun of black women, and he tries to poke fun at the incorrect grammar within the bar, stating that from a grammatical standpoint, technically, Kendrick was inferring that white comedians should be making fun of black women.
All right, let's see the exact line. Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman. That's law. Now, technically speaking, if we're going off of grammatic English,
Okay.
he's saying I can talk about black women, and that is law.
Don't let no white comedian talk about no black
So
woman.
he's basically saying all white comedians
Are only allowed to
talk about black women.
exclusively.
That's what I'm talking about, Kendrick.
Then Schultz sarcastically jokes about the hypocrisy of Kendrick calling out white comedians when he's doing some sort of
I want y'all to see his crowd. Because his mind, we got to get technical with this shit. His mind is perverted, right? So we know a bird of a feather flop together, every beast resort to his likeness, right? So his mind attracts other certain minds. I want y'all to look at the crowd because they paid for this ticket because their mind think like that. Okay, we got rappers that we like. For instance, Dot. We like Dot. What is some of the stuff Dot talk about? Prosperity. Morals. Don't do this. This is wrong. This is good. That's wrong. Don't do that. Because that's what our mind is. That's what we like. I want y'all to see some. Listen, these are the same people at your workplace. These are the same people you rub shoulders with who has perverted minds, but you would never notice. That's why you must be careful, especially if you got children. Must be careful, like who your kids go spend the night with and all of that stuff. Be careful with all that stuff. Be careful with it. I'm telling you, if some people think things are jokes, that we like, oh hell no, you're not supposed to do that. That's what we would say. You're not supposed to do that. But other people may take it as a joke. Be careful. Be careful. We are living in Babylon. This is the melting pot. Be careful who you associate with. Gather yourselves from amongst them and be ye separate. Get away from them. Let's get it.
TV special with the South Park creators. Which, as a side note, if you know anything about South Park, then you should be very excited for this special. Like, I'm more excited for this collaboration than I am for another Kendrick album. Like, these guys are the GOATs at comedy, storytelling, far superior than Andrew Schultz, which we're going to touch on shortly, but their comedic approach to social commentary, mixed with Kendrick's own comedic approach within his music and the obvious impeccable penmanship that he possesses. Like, if this is going to be some sort of comedy special / musical, which, side note, again, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, are also incredibly hilarious songwriters. Search up Kanye West, Gay Fish, South Park if you want reference, but yeah, it's definitely going to be an incredible collaboration. Drop a comment if you're excited for that, and this is what Schultz had to say about Kendrick linking up with the South Park creators.
Now I understand why he's doing a comedy with the South Park creators.
That makes
Because
sense.
he appreciates white comedians that make fun of black people.
There you go.
And they've done that brilliantly for decades.
Yeah, that's true.
And he would never want to, break one of his own laws.
No, that's true.
I mean, didn't they have a character called Token on the South?
Something wrong with this dude, bro. And y'all seen me call it out before. Look how he looking at Andrew Schultz and saying, "Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Look at him. Watch this. Watch this.
Because he appreciates white comedians that make fun of black people.
There you go.
And they've done that brilliantly for decades.
Yeah, that's true.
And he would never want to, break one of his own laws.
No, that's true.
I mean, didn't they have a character called Token on the South Park show?
Yeah, they do.
Which I'm sure Kendrick is a big fan of.
Then
Look
Andrew
his
Schultz's
foot. Y'all
co-host.
see his foot wiggling? Look at his foot wiggling. Something wrong with him. Look. So look at his foot wiggling. Look at his foot. Watch this.
Yeah, that's true.
And he would never want to, break one of his own laws.
No, that's true.
I mean, didn't they have a character called Token on the South Park show?
Yeah, they do.
Which I'm sure Kendrick is a big fan of.
Then Andrew
Y'all
Schultz's
seen his
co-host,
foot?
Akash Singh.
Yeah, y'all seen his foot and he ain't eating nothing. You know how your foot be wiggling when you snacking on something. He ain't eating nothing. Nigga foot wiggling. Dude, right? I'm telling y'all, where he's buying. Y'all better observe people, man.
Questions why Kendrick has collaborated with artists who have been accused of their own allegations of abuse, like Dr. Dre or Chris Brown, or why he was protesting to take his music off of Spotify if they removed R. Kelly's catalog, if Kendrick really is all about protecting black women.
It's very important to him to protect black women. That's why he's never done a song with an abuser confirmed. He's never done a song
thank
with
God.
anybody
Thank
that's
God.
that's
Thank God.
suspected of abuse.
Thank
He's
God.
never threatened to remove his music from Spotify
Thank
because
God.
they removed R. Kelly's music. This is all very important to Kendrick.
And while I think they're missing the point in that Kendrick has always stood for positivity within his music, has always done his best to uplift black people, he can still appreciate comedy while telling his people to not take disrespect from white comedians or from anyone in general. And I think Andrew missed the main point, which is that Kendrick wasn't even talking to Schultz directly. If that bar even was in reference to the jokes that Schultz made, Kendrick is talking to the people around Schultz, most notably probably Charlemagne the God, telling them not to let a white comedian talk about black women. He never said white comedians stop talking about black women. He's referencing the people around Schultz. But that's the problem with Andrew Schultz. He's always had to be the loudest in the room and the center of attention, and it takes a
Gotta check it out. Check out the crowd. These are the minds right here. These are the same ones that be on Unsolved Mysteries, 48, First 48 and all that. The same type of people. American Greed and all that. Look at your shows. Check your shows out. American Greed. Check them out. These are the ones that be signing the papers and all that shit. I'm telling you. Fraud and all that. They get that's them. Let's get it.
away from the sophistication of his comedy. Ironically, for years, I've been comparing Schultz to the Drake of comedy. See, Andrew Schultz is a savvy entertainer, but when it comes to comedy as an art form, you can describe his approach the same way you can narrow down Drake's approach to music. They're both prolific and popular, but formulaic and lacking depth. Schultz's comedy thrives on being topical and provocative, but this focus on immediacy often sacrifices sophistication. Much like Drake's tendency to ride trends and be everywhere in every sound all at once, Schultz's jokes aim for virality rather than timelessness, leaving little that resonates after the punchline lands. You could compare this to many different comedic styles. Take Jerry Seinfeld, for example, whose observational humor finds profound truths in the mundane, or Theo Von, who crafts surreal, offbeat worlds with wit and unpredictability. Schultz's reliance on stereotypes and shock value feels shallow next to comedians like Dave Chappelle, who also incorporates controversy into his bits, but does so with nuance and intelligence, or Hannah Gadsby, who uses comedy to challenge perspectives and explore vulnerability. Schultz's omnipresence everywhere, on podcasts to Netflix specials to YouTube to social media, mirrors Drake's everywhere at once strategy, but this overexposure dilutes his material. Contrast this with John Mulaney's curated, masterfully structured performances, or Ali Wong's deliberate and personal storytelling. Schultz's rapid-fire approach often feels more about promoting his persona than delivering meaningful material. Like Drake's middle-of-the-road lyricism, Schultz's comedy caters to the masses but lacks the risk and innovation of greats like Bo Burnham, who blends introspection with boundary-pushing creativity, or Patton Oswalt, whose layered humor rewards careful listening. Even Bill Burr tackles difficult subjects with insight and nuance, elevating his comedy above the surface-level provocations that Schultz often relies on. Schultz is undeniably entertaining, but his comedy often feels like fast food. Quick, accessible, and untimely forgettable compared to the gourmet artistry of comedians like Seinfeld, Chappelle, or Mulaney. True comedy.
I don't feel like I believe he's freestyling. I'm telling you, I think he's freestyling because the comedians, they write their stuff down, practice it, go over it. Oh, what's hot? What's not? He's telling you what the heck he's thinking. Like, straight up. Like, this was on my mind, and I'm about to just yell it out and hope for the best. And they like it because all those minds connect with each other.
Like great music, demands more than just being everywhere or being edgy. It demands substance, risk, and depth, which is something we definitely did not get from Schultz in his final response to Kendrick's record. In a cheap attempt at cracking fun of Kendrick's short stature, Schultz proceeds to paint a disturbingly vivid picture of both him and K-Dot in a prison cell, and the assault and fondling he would proceed to indulge in with Kendrick out of sheer boredom of being incarcerated. I'm not going to play the clip because you could find it on your own, and frankly it's too disgusting, but Schultz basically said that if him and Kendrick were alone, it would be up to Kendrick to decide if Schultz's actions were consensual or not, but that he was too short and small to stop assault from actually happening. Now, Charlemagne the God, the co-host of the Brilliant Idiot podcast, which is another one of the dozens of platforms that Schultz has plastered his face all over, he sat down with Schultz for an episode of their podcast and had an interesting take on the whole Kendrick issue, one that I somewhat agree with, basically saying that comedians should be allowed to joke about any and everybody. You get down a somewhat dangerous rabbit hole when you try to police comedy. However, it is up to the viewer to establish whether the joke actually landed and if it was funny or not. And in this case, in my opinion, like many other of Schultz's shock jockey-esque jokes, it just wasn't that funny. And then getting all butthurt about Kendrick not wanting his people to take disrespect proves that he's more sensitive than the rapper himself. If Kendrick can't police your comedy, why can you police his bars? But anyways, this is what Charlemagne had to say about the matter.
I agree that if you're a comedian, you have, I don't want to say license because that's not the right word, but you have the license to make jokes about any and everybody. Since when do we police comedians? And by the way, if you don't like the jokes, you have every right to say it. You can rap about it, you can protest about it, you can be offended, you can tweet about it, you can do all of that.
And to sum it all up, Schultz insisted that he does make jokes about everyone, not just one specific group, and he's not racist, which I don't believe he is. I just think he's a bad comedian, but that's for you guys to decide. And the most outrageous thing that Schultz said was that he was responsible for the massive success of GNX due to the controversy he roped himself into with Kendrick Lamar.
If Andrew was a person who...
That's the part I ain't like. He said he's the reason for GNX was already popping. Like, yo, why is you tooting your horn like that, though? Like, who are you? Everybody who I introduced, when I was like, yo, this is what popping right now, old boy right here. Everybody was like, who is that? Exactly. We don't believe you. You need more people. Bruh. People don't even know you, bruh. People in the comment section like, yeah, he's bigger than what you think. No, he's big to you. To you.
Who only was constantly making jokes about one group of people, it would be different.
100%.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
don't get me wrong, there are people who call themselves comedians that oftentimes use it as a smokescreen to just say some really f***ed up, dumb, shitty jokes
Like
that
you.
are probably racist
Like you.
or hateful.
Yeah.
Like
And that sucks, and that's just bad comedy. But if you're being honest, like if we're all sitting here being honest, and anybody even online that knows anything about me is being honest, you don't believe that.
You're equal opportunist.
Exactly. It's like you've seen me make fun of everybody.
Now, Schultz's comments didn't come without their own controversy. Punch from Kendrick's old record label TDE tweeted out saying, wait, I know as a black man who's involved in hip-hop music that we're a bit slow and don't really understand sarcasm and humor, but did my guy say that he wants to sleep with K-Dot? Another person who commented on this was Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, but it's ironic that he commented on this because Ice Cube was recently saying in an interview that he wouldn't perform with Kendrick at the Super Bowl because he doesn't want to be a guest at the show. He'd rather have his own performance. But his son reacted to Schultz's bit about fondling Kendrick by tweeting out that he's a weird guy. Andrew Schultz replied by saying, Google No Vaseline by Ice Cube, which, if you guys didn't know, is a diss track Ice Cube wrote about his former group NWA getting effed over by their record label. So Ice Cube's son responded by saying, a metaphor about getting effed business-wise by your manager is not the same, homie.
That lets you know that he don't get it. That lets you know he don't get it. He's comparing a contract agreement to physical harm towards somebody. He just, oh man. And for him to even try to back up what he was saying with that, trash. Nasty work. Nasty work.
He ain't call you a B word. He ain't say F you. Didn't even say your name. And your response was buck-breaking. It was just crazy. And that's where the Schultz saga ends, but this is where it gets interesting because on that same record, Whacked Out Murals, Kendrick was...
Yeah, we're going to go over the... Yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel. Hold on.
making direct references to several different rappers directly. Some reference...
I bet, yeah. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that social breakdown by Rapaholics. Y'all know how they give it up. Y'all go like, comment, subscribe. I will leave a link in the description. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, y'all.